My name is Andromeda, and here's my story. See, it all started off with my mom. She was a beautiful lady, and boy did she know it. She would brag to everyone she met about her beauty, which ticked off the Nereids, so they went to Neptune to see if he would fix the problem. So Neptune comes up with the solution to flood the Earth, but that would have been bad for everyone. So they settle on chaining me to a rock. So here I am, helpless in this situation, chained to a rock, ready to be fed to a sea monster, when all of a sudden this hunk flies up with a head in his hands. He says his name is Perseus and he's here to save me. But before he saved me, he went to see my parents to see if he could have my hand in marriage after he rescued me. They said yes, which was another thing I was helpless in. And away he saved me. So then we get to my wedding. And it was a beautiful occasion, up until this guy Phineas shows up. So Phineas shows up because he used to be my fiancé, up until I was chained to the rock, because he did nothing to help me from the rock. He no longer had my hand in marriage. But Phineas just could not let it go. So he comes in and starts chopping away at all of the guests. And it's a massacre. But Perseus jumps up and starts taking out Phineas's army. Well, when things seem to be the worst that they can get, Perseus takes out Medusa's head and turns the entire army into stone. Phineas is sitting there like a coward, begging Perseus not to turn him into stone. But Perseus doesn't listen, and bam, Phineas is a statue too. So then, Perseus and I leave and go to his hometown of Argos, where we live happily ever after.
Hello, I'm Thisbe. Let me tell you about the most beautiful man. This is the man I wanted to marry. He was perfect. Our love was perfect, except for our fathers. They hated each other, but not even the towering wall that physically separated us could ever sever our love. Little did our fathers know there was a chink in the wall through which we exchanged words in the dark of night. But blind I love yous weren't enough. It was kind of romantic, but I longed to see him. I longed to kiss him. One night we decided to sneak past the guards and run away together. We planned to meet at Ninus' tomb. But I must have arrived first because I couldn't find him anywhere. As I was waiting, a lioness came out of nowhere. Being the girl I am, I ran. Thankfully, I came across a cave to take shelter in. I was so upset. I was prey for a lion, my hair was a mess, and I lost my favorite scarf. I couldn't wait any longer, so I wandered out into the darkness again. I knew what the tree looked like and where it was, but I was completely mixed up in the darkness. I saw something strange that looked like a moving tree branch, but as I made my way towards the strange object, my greatest fear became a reality. There on the ground, covered in his own blood, was my Pyramus. I took him into my arms and my tears flooded his body. This was the last moment of our lives together. I called to him and our eyes met for the last time. I couldn't live without him. I couldn't be left on this earth alone. I had to die too.
Hello, my name is Proserpine, or Proserpina, or Persephone. I personally think Persephone rolls off the tongue a little better. You may recognize me as the queen of the underworld. It's a great power, but my journey here was not an easy one. I've always been very close to my mother, Ceres, goddess of the earth. My mother watched over me very closely when I was younger, but I loved her with all my heart. One day, when mother was away, I was playing with the nymphs, picking flowers, when suddenly Pluto stormed up in this huge chariot to steal me away. Cyan tried to stop him, but there was nothing she could do. His heart was possessed with Cupid's arrow. Soon, Cyan's grief overtook her form, and she became one with her pool. Pluto continued, though, unfeeling for the grief of others, and took me down into his kingdom. My mother searched for me day and night, but she could find me nowhere in her realm. With nothing else to do, I explored my new home, my kingdom. Surprisingly, the orchards of hell are a very beautiful place. I plucked a pomegranate off one of the trees and consumed 7 seeds. Only 7, but those 7 seeds were enough to solidify my doom. You see, while all this was happening, my mother had gone to Job and pleaded with her grief. She found Sion's pool, and Sion regained her form to tell her my story. Job agreed that I could return to the world of the living as long as I had not broken fast in the world below. Unfortunately for me, I had. When the messenger brought this message to me, I became consumed with anger I'd never felt before in the care of my mother. I turned the messenger into a bird of sorrow. And so, to reconcile my mother's grief and my husband's desire, Job decided that I would spend half the year with each. And so began my travels and my confinement, my joy and my sorrow.